what's up everyone, it's Emily and welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to do a separate video for the books that I review that are arcs for a month. I don't know. I've seen other people do it and I really liked the idea of kind of giving them their own time in their own video because they are kind of their own separate thing, right? Like they're not published yet. So instead of doing a whole review video for those books, I'm just gonna kind of put them together. We're gonna talk about them a bit, and yeah. So in July, I read 2 arcs. I read Jade is a Twisted Green and Never Ever Getting Back Together. First one I read is Jade is a Twisted Green, which is a coming-of-age story of a queer Black woman that lives in Toronto. Up front, I just want to say this book does not follow linear storytelling, so if you are someone who needs linear plot, this is probably not going to be the best one for you. I will say I wish the author had done a little bit more grounding of where we were, because I have no issue with jumping around the timeline, but sometimes I had no idea what was going on in terms of placement. I think what happened is we were just in so many different places and so many different times with characters that we hadn't met. Like, it was just hard to kind of keep track of where we were at any given time, and I think I needed a little bit more context beginning each chapter in the new place, but maybe that's just me. Our main character is Jade, and she is struggling with overcoming the fact that she lost her twin sister recently, and she's turning, I think, 24. What I really liked about this book is the way that it talks about trauma and dealing with trauma and what that does to a person and how that affects everything in their life. Like every relationship they have, every person they meet, you know, just speaking to someone and being reminded of someone that you lost, and how even if you thought you were over it, that grief just comes back to you like a wave. I think Jade was a really interesting character, and I really love the way that she was written. We also get a lot of really good female sisterhood bond connections, so they're kind of in this little friend group here. You can tell that they all just really love each other in this kind of sisterly relationship friend group that they've got going on. I think that might have been my favorite part of the whole book. Outside of that though, I did have a few issues with it. I don't want to get into spoilers obviously because this is a book that is not out yet. Towards the end of the book, there is a moment in which the main character is like, I don't think I want to be monogamous anymore, I want to be polyamorous, which is fine. However, the way that the author kind of handles it is that, like, it's not that she actually wants to be polyamorous, she just wants an excuse to cheat. And that I'm not really okay with, because the author is kind of putting it in a glorified light. And for me, that kind of made me uncomfortable, especially because it kind of felt like we were going backwards from the character development that we had established the whole rest of the book. So that for me was a big turnoff. And then also, I think the book really suffers from switching multiple POVs, because Jade is such an interesting character, and I think for this book it is really her story, and yet throughout the book we just have a lot of other characters taking over, and one, I don't really care about their stories nearly as much, and two, I really think it takes away from Jade as our protagonist when we spend 50 pages away from her to explore this side character that in the end doesn't really have consequence to the rest of the story. I think those are like the two main things that kind of turned me off, but they were fairly large things. And because of that, I ended up giving this one 3 stars. It just wasn't my favorite book ever, but however, the writing was really well done, and a lot of the things that the author expressed about trauma, therapy, developing emotionally after a huge loss like that, I really thought was really well done. The other arc I read this month was Never Getting Back Together by Sophie Gonzales, and this book was incredible. Upfront, I gave this one 5 stars. I don't want to go into too heavy detail about it, but it kind of takes a spin on The Bachelor. The Bachelor is the brother of the princess of his sister got married to a prince, and so he's now this eligible guy, and instead of him just finding someone that he loves to marry, they're like, we're gonna make a reality TV show and we're gonna call all of your ex-girlfriends and you're gonna choose from them to be with. And so our main character is Maya and the other one is Sky, and they are both ex-girlfriends of this guy that he cheated on both of them with each other. Like, he cheated on Maya with Sky, but Sky didn't know Maya existed. It's like a whole mess. But Sky and Maya are both bisexual. Do with that information what you will. This book was so fun and so fast-paced, and I loved literally everything, basically everything about it. It was just such a fun book to read. I wouldn't think too heavily about it other than to just enjoy the ride. And I will say the only thing that like turned me off is that they're all like 18 years old, which is fine. Like I have no issue with YA books and everything. That's like what I read a lot of. However, with a lot of the things that was going on with the TV show and the situations that these characters were in, it was just crazy to me that they were 18. And I don't even mean in like terms of maturity. I mean like, I can't believe reality TV would let 18-year-olds do this on TV. Maybe that's just me. But in my head, they were all like 24 and then I was fine with it, so... But I had to do that with Six of Crows too, so I think maybe that's more of a me thing than it is like the vast majority of individuals. Anyway, I really love this book. I will definitely be recommending it to anyone who loves, you know, rom-com, funny, YA, NA romances. Like this, it was just so much fun. And if you love The Bachelor, I think you would really love this one. So those are the 2 arcs that I read this past month in July. I have a few more coming up in August that I'm hoping to get to, that I will hopefully be doing this again for. Let me know if you like arcs being in their own video or if I should keep them with the rest of my wrap-up. I'm just really not sure like what makes the most sense, because yeah, I read them and I talked about them briefly in my wrap-up. However, they're kind of their own entity with being arcs and they're not really out yet, and I don't really know like how much I want to talk about them in terms of plot and everything. So let me know what you guys think down below. I'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts on all of that. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, if you would please like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.